So here's your class syllabus, which you should have printed. There's a brief description of what this class is all about and some of the course objectives. But before we start going over all of that, there's some information that is so important that I put it up on the front as key points. And that is, class attendance is mandatory. It's really important for you to accomplish all of the objectives in this class that you be in class every day. There are no excused absences in this class. You simply need to be in class every day. And there's certain rules that I've established for dropping students from class if they have been absent 3 or more times from class. They should expect to be absent. Students who don't show up on the first day are automatically dropped as no-shows. Students who don't show up on the second class day will be dropped to make room for waitlisted students. So please understand that class attendance is really important. It does affect your grade. There's another rule that's important enough to be on the front page of the syllabus, and that is the use of any personal electronics devices. This is a zero tolerance policy. No personal electronic devices whatsoever, that includes earbuds, are to be out while you're in the classroom. I know there's some students who want to come in and sit down and get on their phone for a few minutes before class starts. No, the classroom is a zero tolerance zone. All personal electronic devices need to be stowed out of sight while you're in the classroom. Your final grade is going to be based on 4 components, and those 4 components are class participation, so you need to be in class in order to participate. Quizzes and assignments, projects, and something called practicums, which I will talk about. And finally, all of the work needs to be submitted on time, on or prior to the due date. It becomes way too complicated for me if I begin to accept late work. So please understand, you must turn in all of your work on schedule. Once you get behind schedule in this class, it's like really hard to catch up. Okay, so those are the points that are so important. I've put them right here on the first page of your syllabus. There are course objectives which you should look at. I'll give you a brief summary of these course objectives. These course objectives are aimed towards making you computer literate so that you will have some understanding of information technology and how information technology will affect your life. And hopefully you can use that knowledge to navigate a successful course into the future in a world that is dominated by information technology. But in addition, you're going to have some hands-on labs, because this is a lab course, and you're going to be compiling a portfolio of some projects that you can be using for job interviews and hopefully for employment purposes. So that's course objectives. A few details over here. You already know where we meet, what times we meet. You know that there is a lab available to you, the Instructional Management Center, which, by the way, is right outside our classroom. What you may be unaware of is that because this is a lab course and you are required to put in 3 hours a week in lab, whether you do it in the IMC or you do it online, it's still a class requirement to earn that additional lab unit, because this is a 4-unit class. But what you're unaware of, perhaps, is that I am making myself available for lab tutorials on Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. in the next door classroom, BGS 234. So I strongly recommend, since you've got to put in 3 hours of lab anyway, spend an hour and a half with me on Wednesdays. It's not mandatory, but highly recommended, because this face-to-face time in lab is really invaluable in terms of teaching you various skills that you may not be able to pick up on your own working independently. Okay, there's contact information for me. The best way to contact me is on Twitter. As you will see in a few minutes, you are required to follow me on Twitter. It doesn't cost you anything. You can use Twitter on a mobile device. If you don't have a mobile device that can load an app for Twitter, then you can use your browser. However, following me on Twitter is really important because I give you class updates. It's how we exchange information and so on and so forth. However, if there's anything really official for the class, like a cancellation of a class or something that's related to an upcoming examination, I will be emailing that to you directly. There are some important dates here which you should take note of, since they affect whether or not you can withdraw from the class and so on. Our class format is lecture for 3 hours a week and lab for 3 hours a week, so you earn 4 units of credit for this class. 3 units of lecture, 1 unit of lab. And as I've mentioned earlier, your 3 hours a week, that's 1 unit of lab credit, can be done online. It can be done in the IMC, but I strongly recommend that you attend the 90 minutes of lab tutorial that I'm providing, so that you can pick up all of the fine points and details that may not come across in an online lab without instructional supervision. Any students who require accommodations for this class, see me. We have excellent disability services at Saddleback College, and we'll make sure that this class is accessible for all students. Your class materials, I'll be talking about this separately and in our face-to-face class, but your class materials consist of 4 textbooks and an access code to use an online system that we refer to as CIM. It is an online system that you will be using to do all of your projects and to submit your project work. You receive the access code for the CIM system when you purchase the 4 textbooks. More information coming up about the textbooks. Attendance, I've already talked about this. Attendance is mandatory. There's no excused absences in this class. You are simply expected to be in class every day. It's where you need to be to earn credit for this class. Grading. We'll talk more about this in class, but there are 4 components in this class, each of which constitutes 25% of your grade. The components are class participation. So if you are in class and participate in class, we'll be talking more about that, you get a perfect score, 100% on 25% of your grade. Quizzes and assignments. Quizzes and assignments are very easy. Quizzes are taken straight out from your textbook, 25% of your grade. You will be submitting a total of 12 projects. These are online projects. You have a lot of help in doing them. Very easy to earn 100% on that 25% of your grade. And then we have 2 hands-on practicums. This is where you will go into the lab and actually do a hands-on project as a test. Some students find this a little bit challenging, but their grade is typically offset by some of these other components. So the fact that your grade is based on 4 components gives you a real good shot at making an A in this class. The coursework, we've already talked about use of the Information Management Center. You will require access to a personal computer which has Microsoft Office 2013. There is no need for students to go out and buy any of this software. It is all available in the IMC. So additional information on this in class. We've talked about late policy, quizzes, as I've discussed, are straight out of your textbook. It's very, very easy to make an A on your quizzes if you read the textbook. Information here about regrades. It rarely happens that work isn't graded correctly, but if necessary, I will regrade work. Classroom disruptions. We typically don't have any problem with classroom disruptions except for students attempting to use their personal electronic devices, maybe hidden under the table or sitting on the chair. This is serious because it disrupts me and it disrupts the class. There are students who have figured out that, well, if they get a vibration on their phone, they can just walk outside and take a call or send a text message or whatever. Please be aware that leaving class during lectures or presentations is disruptive to me and to other students. So it's a 90-minute, actually, I believe, 75-minute class session. So please plan on remaining in class for the full class session. Academic dishonesty. I think all of you understand that you wouldn't want to be treated by a physician who cheated his way or her way through medical school. You wouldn't want to be represented by an attorney who cheated his way or her way through law school. So we have a zero tolerance policy for any academic dishonesty in this class. And I think all students know that and appreciate that and respect that and honor that policy. So that's it for the syllabus.